Welcome to Get Wed,
a podcast to plan your wedding by.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Kerrie.
And we're both here as professional photographers
and brides-to-be to help you plan your big day.
Each week we'll discuss a topic that you'll encounter along your wedding planning journey.
And with the help of fellow industry experts, we'll navigate this crazy wedding world
together.
Welcome back to Get Wed, everyone. This week is a little bit strange. It's my first week without Katie on the podcast and feel a little bit lost. But as you may have noticed if you're watching on YouTube,
glamorous assistant.
I have a glamorous assistant. This week I'm joined by my husband, Russell. Say hi, Russell.
Hello, how's it going, everyone?
So usually when we have a guest on, I get them to explain who they are and what they do. I know that you're not relevant to the wedding industry, but perhaps you should introduce yourself to our listeners.
Oh, okay. Russell, Kerrie's husband. So I work in a totally different environment to this. So I work for a construction company, sort of specialising in repairs and refurbishments and work, stuff like that. So I work as head of data and delivery. So I won't bore you with the details of that, but it's pretty much a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of boring numbers and stuff. But yeah, hopefully I'll make a difference to someone along the line somewhere. But yeah, that's pretty much us, me in a nutshell.
So Russ is more of a what's the word? I'm like more the creative side of the relationship, and you'd be the more practical side.
And analytical, do you reckon?
Yeah, you do all the spreadsheets and numbers.
/ boring.
And I do all the pretty
things.
Yeah,
okay.
So yeah, we thought today what we do is we talk to you about our wedding day, because obviously we left you on the end of season 3 where it was a couple of days just before I went to get married, and so we thought we'd come back and Russ would be here to tell the story of the day. So here we go. One of the first questions we've got, I guess we can just both answer as we go along.
Yeah.
Make it easier. So tell us about the initial plans for the wedding day and why did we plan the type of wedding that we did?
Oh, right, okay. Am I starting this off?
Right,
okay. So initial plans, it was pretty evident quite early on that we didn't want a traditional wedding. So there was
even though you said to me in the whole time that before we got engaged that you would only ever want a church wedding because you knew I didn't want.
I'm a man of tradition.
But you're not.
No, so it's a bit jokey on my part, which is with Kerrie, just to wind her up, because her idea of a church wedding is her anti-wedding, I suppose.
Yeah,
so,
just because I'm not religious, so I didn't see the point of ever getting married in church. But
so it was pretty much, it was always going to be a sort of relaxed affair, and we didn't want anything too structured. And we just we wanted to do as much as we can ourselves. We looked at a few wedding venues where you can kind of do it all yourself, but I suppose me looking for a bit of a deal and the fact you're very structured, it just felt like we were going down a bit of a wedding conveyor belt, as a phrase you used.
And we found it difficult because of the amount of weddings that I had photographed in some of the venues that I did like. It almost felt like I was going to be going to work, and it wouldn't feel like our wedding day. It just felt like I was recreating someone else's.
Yeah, and I suppose, but ultimately, like, cost-wise, it actually didn't make that much difference to doing it yourself to using a traditional wedding venue.
You think you're going to save yourself loads of money, but actually we probably spent the same, if not more.
No, yeah, and you have fun stuff like ironing tea towels 2 days before the wedding, which you wouldn't necessarily have to do at a proper venue, would you?
So because of the way we decided to go ahead of our wedding, we chose a venue that wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't licensed. Wasn't licensed for legal ceremonies, so it meant that we had to get married in a normal registry office ceremony a few days beforehand. So that was on the Wednesday, wasn't it? We had our registry office wedding on the Wednesday, and then we got married on the Saturday. So that was just because we wanted to get the legal part out of the way, over and done with, and then we could have our ceremony in the woods on our actual wedding day. So we've now got 2 wedding anniversaries.
Yep.
Just to make it more confusing. So the next question up, which is leading on to that, is why did we have a celebrant-led wedding instead of a legal ceremony?
Well, I suppose we answered it so well, haven't we? Because of the venue we chose and the fact that we wanted to go down this sort of do-it-yourself wedding, so that it wasn't a licensed venue, and Kerrie's reluctance to go inside of a church.
That's actually bad. I'm okay with going in churches. I just didn't want a religious ceremony when I wasn't religious.
So it kind of led us down to that was the only way forward, really, wasn't it? And we didn't want the idea of a registry office wasn't necessarily the way we wanted to go either, was it? So
it was just the legality, wasn't it, the registry office?
Yeah.
But I think also the celebrant-led thing, you had a hard time getting your head around it at first.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. When obviously it's your area of expertise and stuff, and your industry, so you kind of knew what it was. But to me, a celebrant-led wedding kind of meant that it was loads of hippies skipping around the field. But,
it wasn't. Had to hug a tree.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff, and it was really. I don't know how you describe it. Just, really hippie-like, I guess. And I just thought that's too much. It was probably too out there for me, but it wasn't. The fact you could tailor it and do exactly what you want. And Bridget was brilliant, so that really helped, didn't it? So she was really good.
It made it a really personal ceremony, didn't it?
Yeah, it really helped shape the day, didn't it? So it really set it up. And we had lots of positive feedback actually about the style of the ceremony and how relaxed it was. And it kind of set the tone really of where we were, with a beautiful setting in that woodland area, and then what we could do to make it really personal, special to us. All the readings and stuff was really good.
Yeah, like the feedback we got was especially from your parents, because I think your parents did have a problem getting their head around it as well.
Yeah.
They found it a bit odd that we were going to get married twice.
Yeah.
But your dad especially keeps going on about how much he loved the ceremony.
He did, yeah.
So yeah, that was really great.
And he's a difficult man to please as well, so we've done right there.
Yeah, and now they're wedding snobs. We've been to a wedding in the woods. The questions have disappeared. But I think the next one on there was, did we do anything to celebrate the legal ceremony?
Well, so after...
the day that, our first wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was really nice. So we had... So my mum and dad, Kerrie's mum, stepdad and dad, all came along. So we only allowed 2 witnesses in the registry office. So the 2 mums were signed up for that. So they got the gig, even though like my dad and I think the rest of them were just peering through the window.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
So we did all that. And to be honest, I actually found that part of it pretty more emotional than the actual day.
Did you?
Because it was so intimate. You were saying those words were so definitive, weren't they? It was kind of what you were used to hearing, those very legally binding words. And I was like, just watch my mum tear up in the corner, and I was like, blooming egg, she keeps going, I was going to set me off.
I didn't realise you got emotional.
I didn't, not as such, but I thought there was a point where I was like, it's quite a big deal, isn't it? You kind of, that is it.
Yeah.
Although we had all the rest of it, that was the moment we were legally married.
Yeah.
So.
I found it weird because we were just in a little office.
Yeah.
So it almost didn't feel like a real thing, although it was.
Yeah.
That's what I found strange, just being shoved in that little office, and it was like those toys on top of the cabinet for the kids.
Yeah, it was like a standard office, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there was no wedding side of it, was there? Or we walked past the main part, didn't we? Just a little side office and did it all there.
Yeah.
Standing up
and then we came out and signed the register with everyone, had lots of pictures taken on everyone's phones.
Yeah.
And then we just went out for lunch, didn't we? So
we did,
yeah, it was a really nice way to kind of celebrate.
Yeah, lunch was nice as well. We had a bit of an odd time of the day. Our ceremony was quite early, wasn't it? So we were done in half an hour. So we kind of went down just by the docks and had a coffee in a hotel near there, and then had a look around at restaurants and ended up going just down the road to Dedham.
Yeah, which is nice because we go there quite often. So
it's
nice that we went to my local to have our celebratory lunch. So that was good. And then that was chaos because we then had to go and check on the marquee going up and everything for the actual wedding day, didn't we? So
yeah, we did. Yeah.
I just went straight back in. It was kind of like you got married, but then it was like, oh, but yeah, let's
carry
on planning the wedding.
Move on to the next thing. Yeah, definitely.
So that was mad. So let's set the scene of the wedding day. Did we have good or bad weather?
Oh, so leading up to the weather, I was a weather expert. I probably had about 15 different weather apps. To the point where I was looking at the satellite and I was almost a qualified weatherman because I was looking at the pictures going, oh no, it's definitely not going to rain where we are, even though it was very interchangeable. So depending on which app you looked at, you was kind of like, it's definitely not going to rain. It says it here, doesn't it? It's black and white.
We were probably checking the weather every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The thing is, because we had our wedding day everything was outdoors, so we had an outdoor ceremony in the woods, and then we had a marquee in the vineyard. So apart from when we were inside sitting down for dinner, everything would have been outside. So photos, the actual ceremony itself, drinks, canapes, although we could have done that inside if need be. But so we were really dependent on having a good day, and we didn't have a backup plan, which looking back is probably quite a silly thing. Maybe you should have planned that.
Oh yeah, we went all in on the weather, so we were so lucky. Even on the day we were setting up, we had beautiful sunshine, and we sent a couple of lads off to pick the bench up with some of the errands, and they said there was a torrential downpour on the way, and only 5 minutes down the road from where we were, but somehow that sort of just scooted past us, and we didn't have a drop of rain for the day before or the day of.
No, it was really hot actually, wasn't it? We had like a really I got sunburnt. Yeah,
hot and a nice little breeze as well, wasn't it? So it was perfect really. So
we were very lucky.
We rolled the dice and we won, so that was good, wasn't it?
My stepnan I spoke to her on the wedding day and I was like, have you had a good day? And she goes, yeah, hasn't the weather been nice? I was like, I know, we were so worried about it. And then she said, but don't worry, the sun always shines in the righteous.
There you go.
So we clearly were righteous that day. So how were your nerves on the wedding day and what worried you the most?
Oh, nerves. I suppose our morning was really chilled. So I stayed at my parents. Sorry?
Your morning was chilled.
Yeah, I know yours probably wasn't, but mine was. So I stayed at my parents' house with my two brothers. Had come back as well, and then the girls, the girls and my mum were there as well. So they all went and get their hair done and their makeup. They had a makeup artist come over and do that sort of stuff. So me, Daniel, and Scott, we were just watching the Lions were on, so it was rugby. So we were watching the rugby. Just a bit of brotherly banter as it was. It was kind of just really relaxed, just sort of chilling out. And then the cricket was on after that. So a really sporty morning and with a couple of beers just watching the cricket. And then it was kind of like, oh, actually, I better get ready to go and get married here. So it was actually a little bit rushed getting ready because I've just
been busy watching sport.
Been dawdling around here getting my priorities right. So we were doing that. And then, and then I suppose a bit of a panic getting ready, making sure I had my little buttonhole done properly. And Kerrie bought me a pocket watch as a wedding gift, so I had to make sure that was in properly and it was all done up and it was all wound up and the time set and that sort of stuff. So, and then just get into the hotel just to drop the bags and stuff off and meet my best man who we were going to drive to the wedding. So, yeah, got there. It was all fine. And Tagg, our dog, was the ring bearer, so he had I was in charge of the pouch for the rings. I had the rings as well, didn't I think?
Didn't you forget them?
I forgot the pouch for the dog, so we were
forgotten the actual rings.
No, I remember the rings, but I forgot. We just driven half down the road and I forgot the pouch. I had to get back for that. So yeah, wedding day was very relaxed.
So how did you feel when everyone was arriving at the ceremony? Did you feel nervous then?
No, not so much. To be honest, it was really a done deal. We already got married 2 days before, hadn't we? So, I mean, ultimately, we were just going to miss out on a big party. I was already, we were already married, didn't turn up. But the biggest worry I had was the band. We couldn't get hold of the band for the day. So we had two bands, one in the evening and one in the day. And one in the day was actually playing the music down. Kerrie was walking down the aisle to. And bands being the mavericks that they are very difficult to get hold of. So
we've been trying to get hold of them all week, haven't we?
Yeah, so we'd paid the deposit. We told them what song we wanted to play. We hadn't really had much feedback, had we?
No.
And then we had Caroline, who was our wedding coordinator for the day as well, and she hadn't been able to get hold of them. I couldn't get hold of them the day before or the morning of, and I was like, "What are we going to do if this band doesn't turn up?" Because I had my phone with the music on. That was kind of our plan B, really. But I was like, the logistics of it all, and it wouldn't have been the same. Thankfully, they turned up.
But 5 minutes before the ceremony.
Yeah, very close to start the ceremony. But yeah, it went. I suppose that was probably the biggest bit I was worried about.
Not so much the actual ceremony.
No.
Everything going to plan. So yeah, my morning was really relaxed. I don't know if you slept very well the night before. I didn't.
I was fine.
Oh, right. I was quite nervous. And then I got up about 6 because I just couldn't sleep anymore. So I walked Tagg, took him around the field. And then I came back and had something quick to eat. And then literally half an hour later is when the hairdresser turned up. So we got started from 7 in the morning. So it was just a very early start. And then I just found it really odd because I'm so used to being in that situation as a photographer, but it was all happening to me. So I found it really weird to just be sitting there not photographing it, or do you know what I mean? I was just involved in it rather than being separate from it. And that was really weird. I found it really, really strange.
I think the makeup artist that came to do Mum, Fiona's and Laura's makeup, she was like, it's so different. I'm usually at the bride's house.
Oh, really?
And obviously we were just hanging around. Yeah. And they were just getting their makeup done and stuff, and it was just dead relaxed. And it was,
Nightmare. But anyway, my dad, his car broke down that morning. I think I mentioned this on the last episode actually. My dad had gone to a boot sale in the morning and his car broke down on the way. So we had to find another car. So when he turned up, it all worked out fine, but I just heard about it second hand from my sister-in-law saying that his car had broken down, so I was starting to worry about that. But otherwise the morning went really smoothly. The only time I got nervous was just before I was walking down the aisle. And it was more because I wasn't so nervous about the wedding ceremony or anything, it was because of everyone who was there. And it's when they all turned around to look. And also I was a little bit nervous about whether my nephew would walk down the aisle because he was only 4 then, wasn't he? Because he was 5 months afterwards. He had a little sign to hold that said, "Here comes the bride," and I just didn't know whether he'd actually walk down the aisle or not. And I remember we were kind of standing in our rows to go down the aisle. So me and my dad were at the back, and then there was Kerrie, and then there was Hayley, my sister-in-law, and then my nephew at the front. So we were quite a way back from everything, but we could kind of see everything in the distance. And then I just saw Charlie turn the corner and walk, like stomp down the aisle. Oh, he wasn't nervous at all.
No, he wasn't. He was perfect as well, and he walked dead straight, and he took his instructions literally.
Did he?
And he walked right the way through where the macrame thing was as well. So he literally walked to as far as he could go before he hit a tree. So
that's good, because I didn't think he'd do it. But so yeah, I was really right about that. But as I walked down the aisle, I couldn't look at anyone apart from you.
Yeah.
Because I was just too nervous to look at everyone because there's so many people. But then after that, and actually for the whole ceremony, I was too nervous to look back at people. Okay, and I wish now that I had just looked at everyone, because I would have liked to have had that memory of like seeing where everyone was sat and everything. It's
such an unusual feeling, is it, being centre of attention, especially if you're not used to it. So obviously everyone's there willing you on, and I think that's one of the real positives. You kind of not to get too overawed by that, because everyone there means you well, and they're really behind you, and that whole atmosphere is all there is really positive. So you kind of sometimes it can be a bit daunting if you've got 100 people all staring at you, and actually 100 people all wanting to do well and all happy to be there.
And I think I had a hard time getting that into my head beforehand. I was worried that people were going to judge me.
Yeah.
Whereas they're not at all. Everyone's there, and they're supporting you, and they're happy for you, and and
that's a reflection of you, maybe.
Maybe it is. I think I just constantly worry about what people think of me. It's terrible. But just to kind of set the scene for you for our ceremony, so it was outside in the woods, and we had like wooden like benches made from scaffold boards that we got from our local pub.
Yeah.
And we just gave a charity donation for that, so that was really handy. I'd made loads of rag bunting to hang from the tree, so that was kind of swaying in the wind, really lovely. And the sun was all like dappled through the trees, wasn't it, the leaves and things. And then we'd also had a huge macrame hanging at the end of the aisle, so that was behind us during all the photos and stuff. So, and that's now above our bed, which is lovely.
Yeah, it's good.
The questions have disappeared again.
Right, so.
It must be about the ceremony, I reckon. So I think.
Well, do you want to talk about your dress and stuff, or have you done all that previously?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So, Oops. So I wore like a tweed suit, so we got all sort of bespoke tweed and suits made, which were really good actually. There was a place in London that were really reasonably priced actually, so you kind of got tailor fitted suits. So me and the groomsmen all wore those, so that was.
Yeah, the biggest stress we had with your outfit was finding ties.
Yeah.
Or me. I was desperate to get like colour matched ties. We found a really nice tie for you in River Island, and then we had to find the boys' ones to match, but we used a website called Swagger and the Swoon in the end to colour match, so that worked really well. And then you all wore these nice paper flowers as buttonholes, which you can see if you're watching on YouTube. They're like that copper flowers, and they just had them as their buttonholes, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then my dress was a Charlie Brewer Separates, part of the Charlie Brewer Separates collection. Oh, I can't remember what is that. So I had a dress, like a plain white dress, and then I had a tasselled skirt and a lace like overlay piece with like a deep V back and like a high neck front, and then a sash around the middle. What did you think of my dress?
Yeah, see, obviously I had no idea what the dress was going to be, so I know Kerrie had sort of agonised over the dress decision for ages. So
and then I spent too much money on it.
Yeah, so it all started off that Kerrie was going to make her own dress, because it was kind of all the theme of the wedding is all about trying to do it yourself. So that was the challenge she set herself, but then quickly that challenge dropped off, didn't it?
Yes, very quickly.
So and then you were looking at dresses and you ummed and ahhing, and I don't know how many you had delivered from like mail order stuff.
Yeah.
You did all that, didn't you? And then you saw the one you liked. So I had no real idea what it was going to be. I think you said it was quite different. And then it was amazing. Like literally, it's all that sort of stuff, isn't it? Where the sort of cliche where you say like how beautiful the bride was, and everything. It was just generally like the dress was carried to a T, really, and it was everything you wanted. So and actually, probably that was one of the. I suppose another one of the tips, isn't it? Is about the cost of a wedding costs so much, and you were umming and ahhing about whether that cost of that dress and that was worth it, and you kind of look at it and think the reflection of how much the percentage I suppose you're spending on that dress compared to the cost of the whole day, and that thing was just for you. You might as well just go the extra mile and get exactly what you want, and don't compromise. I think. And
although you only get to wear it once, you do get to keep it forever.
You do, yeah. I mean, it looks brilliant, doesn't it, in that bag?
Yeah, thanks. Another thing for our ceremony before we move on is because it's celebrant led, we could bring in any kind of like unique touches that we wanted to. And Bridget had a list of things that we could include in our ceremony, and we decided to have a first argument box made up, which everyone found quite funny because we do bicker quite a bit. So we had this box which we ordered from Not on the High Street, which says Russell and Kerrie on it, and then inside there's a bottle of wine, which is from Denham Vale, which is where we got married, a bottle of their white. And the idea is that if we ever have an argument, then we have to crack open this box and read these notes that we've written to each other, and remember why we fell in love and got married. And you'll be pleased to know they haven't been opened yet. So we haven't had a bad enough argument that we've had to crack open the bags.
No, it's been plain sailing so far, hasn't it?
Yeah. But this like sits in our living room now. It's quite nice, like a little reminder. And if we ever run dry of wine, I'm sure we'll bring it.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So, were there any issues, and did anything go wrong?
Nothing major. Nothing majorly. Oh, he described it. Nothing really stopped the day going, did it?
No.
And everything in our eyes was the perfect day, but there were little things that went wrong, and I think that again is quite an important thing to remember. Is that I think no matter how much you plan it and how well you organise something, it's bound to go wrong. There's a little bit of communication here and there will slightly be misinterpreted, but it's just to let it go. So I suppose our reception drinks. Our reception drinks was one of them, wasn't it? They were supposed to do Pimm's, and they ended up doing the champagne we'd reserved for the speeches.
Yeah. But the good thing about that was because you're the first couple over, like you're the first ones to the table to get a drink. As soon as we got there, we were like, this is not what should be being said right now, because we bought so much Pimm's, and we've still got so much Pimm's.
So yeah, anyone wants a garden party, come round.
But luckily, because we were there and we're like, right, this is wrong, they corrected it quite quickly, which is good. But that's the only big thing, wasn't it? And in the lead up, I guess, or the date in the setup, it was a tablecloth issue.
Yeah, Tablegate. Yeah.
Tablegate.
Yeah, it was a big issue. So Kerrie is close to Bridezilla, as you were going to see. Kerrie, I think, was that moment when she got where we'd gone off somewhere, hadn't we? Had we gone to?
We'd gone to do the benches in the ceremony, hadn't we?
And we were with Bridget, weren't we? Doing a run through,
yeah.
And then we'd come back and they'd laid the tablecloths on the tables, and the tablecloths were too short, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it was basically the week we got married was the same week as the election, wasn't it? So
yes.
All of the tables we'd used, so they were little.
They're like trestle tables.
Trestle tables had been sort of scattered around for the general election and stuff. So I think he struggled to get the tables, but he got the tables and he got the tablecloths that went with them. But I don't think
they weren't long enough. Basically, they were too short, so you would have seen everyone's feet pop out the end. And when they were laid out, and I could see everyone had obviously been doing loads of work all day getting the thing ready, and then everyone was looking exhausted by that point. And I walked in, and I was like, "Well, they're too short." And I remember looking at everyone's faces, and they were all thinking, "Well, we're trying our best."
And this was probably Friday. It must have been about 5-6 o'clock, wasn't it? That's come on. So it's kind of like I spoke to the guy, the marquee man, who just hires this stuff in, and he's like, "Well, if you do want to replace, that's me and you both on the phone now, trying to ring around frantically, trying to get tablecloths."
But that's when Caroline had done it before we'd realised.
Yeah.
She phoned our caterers and arranged them to bring some tablecloths which fit the tables perfectly. So before we'd even had the chance to panic and worry about it, she'd sorted it. So that's why she's definitely worth her money.
Yeah, definitely. And that was, again, I hope she won't mind me saying this. This is one thing I thought maybe wasn't necessary was a wedding coordinator, and we thought, do we need one? I mean, do we really need one? But I tell you what, she's probably worth to ask what she'd charge, really, because it was so reassuring and so calming.
Because also, if we didn't have her and that tablecloth situation had happened, we would have had to wait for the next morning for the caterers to turn up and to put the tablecloths on, and then one of us would have had to go up to lay the tables. Yeah,
so she really took all the stress out of the day for us, really, to let us focus on just spending time with people and doing the stuff we wanted to do, and not worry about the little bits and pieces to make sure they happened as they should have done. She and her assistant, whose name escapes me now.
No, I think it's Rachel.
Yeah, that's right. It's Rachel. Yeah, and Rachel. They were brilliant on the day, and they were so good. And I definitely recommend if you're doing a DIY wedding,
go for a coordinator.
You need a coordinator without a shadow of a doubt, just because the day before, she was right on the ball and she was really useful. And then on the day as well was perfect. It's unflappable. I won't play out poker because she's got such a straight face. Even if there was something going wrong, you wouldn't know about it.
When I turned up to the ceremony, she was there waiting for the car, and I was like, "Oh, has everything gone to plan?" She went, "Not really." And I went, "What?" She goes, "Don't worry, it's all fine now." And so I was just thinking, what is it going on? It was the band, not turning up to find us full. But that was quite funny. Should we set the scene of how our marquee looked?
Yeah.
So we had obviously we've mentioned we had a very DIY wedding, so a lot of stuff we did ourselves. So we made little table name places for everyone with their names on out of leaves, so we had to write all those. So we'd been to the woods a few days before to chop all these leaves off a tree.
Yeah, it's 100 leaves, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we had to write everyone's names. And we bought tea towels from IKEA because it was cheaper to do that than it was to hire in napkins. Although now we have so many tea towels, so if anyone's ever short, do let me know. But the problem with that is that we had to iron all the tea towels a couple of days before the wedding because they were really creased up. So that was fun, wasn't it?
Oh.
That was the night before we actually got married, Tuesday night.
It was a Tuesday, the Tuesday night, ironing 100 tea towels.
Yeah, we were up until 1 o'clock in the morning ironing tea towels, so that was fun.
It's worth the extra to hire them, I think, is the moral of that story.
Yeah, I think probably it was.
Yeah.
Other than that, we had lots of foliage from our garden trailing along the tables. We bought flowers in that we then arranged on the day. I'd sprayed loads of bean cans in copper to put flowers in to kind of dot around. And
so this is where Kerrie was really creative, all this sort of stuff. So that all the flowers and stuff you got from the market, didn't you? And you sort of dressed it all yourself, really. The copper cans were all your idea. So we were collecting bean cans from various people. So,
dog food tins.
Yeah, dog food, yeah. We had wine bottles hanging up in the trees outside with some little lights in them as well. So yeah, we were collecting them from everywhere as well. What else is
we had a barmaid, so not a barmaid, we had a bar made by our dad.
Oh yeah.
Our dad's. So we've now got that in our garden. But that was quite fun, having that behind the bar.
That was good, yeah.
I'm trying to think what else we did decor wise. Oh, we made some little table names from IKEA frames, which I wrote table numbers on and put leaves in the middle of, so they look quite nice on the tables. And that was it, wasn't it?
I think
decor wise?
I think that's pretty much the majority.
We had Dreamwave come in, who had been on the podcast before. He hung festoon lights for us because we had a pallet backdrop behind our band. Yeah. So that had lights and ivy hanging from it. So it looked very natural, very kind of...
You had all the plant pots as well, didn't you, hanging around? The little daisy things.
Oh yeah, like terracotta pots with daisies in, so it's very natural and foliagey, botanical.
Yeah, it all worked, didn't it? It all fit in the venue. Yeah, it really went well.
Yeah, it looked really lovely. And then we had these little postcards made up, which I've got here, for our guests to write on. So on the back they can give us some marriage advice. And it was really fun reading through these after the wedding day, wasn't it?
Yeah, something to really sort of remember the day, isn't it? To capture the moment, really, kind of cast your mind back to... Yeah,
and reading people's advice was quite funny.
Yeah, advice,
And also we had some really nice just like well wishes as well.
Yeah, we had some really nice, some really immature ones from my mates, so yeah, it kind of all puts it to context.
That's to be expected.
Yeah, it was, I'll tell you what, the one thing we didn't talk about things that went wrong was my nan actually broke her wrist.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, walking to the ceremony, so my granddad being my granddad, he hates being late for anything, so he was on time, but it was in fact really early, so he'd driven to the venue, parked up, my auntie and uncle were just behind him, but instead of waiting, they're both in their 80s, he just got out of his car in a hurry, in fact left the key in the car, the engine running, he was in that much of a hurry, so those two are walking across the ceremony, because it's in the woods, it was really uneven.
There was one point with a little hole on
it. One little bit.
Where Rachel had been standing the whole time telling people to be careful of the hole.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as it happened, my nan fell down that said hole and then fell over and broke her wrist. But being the trooper that she is, she didn't say a word, sat through the whole ceremony, had the group shots, and then said, "Oh, I think I've hurt my wrist," and it was broken. Quite clearly broken.
She's in the cast, isn't she? About 6 weeks.
Yeah, so unfortunately, she had to leave at that point. So again, I suppose something that went wrong. That was a major thing that went wrong, but. Again, you can't dwell on it. I suppose you just got to. I know. Obviously, feel really sorry for her. And I hope she's well.
You feel a bit like it was your fault because if she hadn't been there, she wouldn't have broke her wrist.
Yeah, and just to finish the story off, and this just proves how tough she is and how tough old bird she is. She went. Had her arm in plaster and stuff, and then when it was due to be the checkup, she got the wrong date. Unfortunately. I think they turned up the day late, so they ended up turning the day late, so they missed her appointment for the cast to come off. So instead of rebooking that said appointment, she decided to cut it off herself. So I don't know, she's done it with a bread knife, I assume, or something. But anyway,
I wouldn't even know how to attempt to do it.
But she's cut her own cast off, and she's right as rain now, thankfully. But yes, that's probably the major thing that went wrong, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I don't know why I didn't think about that because I suppose because she didn't make a big deal out of it. You know what I mean? She was kind of pretended like there was nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And it was like I heard about it as a rumour, like that your nana broke her wrist because she didn't during the group photos and stuff. You wouldn't have known.
No, you wouldn't.
She's very quiet about it. Perhaps she's in so much pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, but no, she's all well now, so that's good.
And the only other little thing that I think was quite funny went wrong was Tagg was our ring bearer, so we got a very nice new posh collar for the day. However, I don't think we'd all put it on him the day before,
No,
had we?
it was decorative, wasn't it?
So it was very decorative, so it didn't actually fit him properly. So I got him one of my best mates from school, a guy called Ed Avery. He was sort of a fourth usher, an unofficial fourth usher. So he was walking. He was going to hold Tagg at the top of the aisle and then let him off for him to run down with the aisle with the rings. But Tagg, being a bit excitable, decided to slip his collar and run off into the woods. So there's Ed before Kerrie's turned up trying to track the dog down, get him to come back. He wasn't going back, so I think he eventually had to sort of rugby tackle him to the ground to get hold of him.
Did he really?
Yeah, he said that he was diving on the ground to catch him because he wouldn't come back. So he got him back on the lead, and then Tagg was as good as gold down the aisle.
Well, I don't know. I can't believe we didn't mention the fact that he brought our rings down the aisle, because that was like one of my proudest moments ever.
Yeah.
I remember at that point where Bridget's like, right, now we'll let Tagg bring the rings down. And everyone turned to look, and he's at the end of the aisle. Ed let him off the lead, and he kind of trotted down a little bit, didn't he, and stopped for a cuddle with your boss.
Yeah.
And then with my uncle, and then he came straight down to the front. So that went really well.
It was good, isn't it?
And he was good as gold the rest of the day.
He was, yeah.
Like he's not a really badly obedient dog, like disobedient dog, but he was so obedient that day. It's like he knew there was something special going on. So all day long he was just kind of running around, getting cuddles from people. He did go for a swim in the lake though, didn't he?
He did, but not as bad as he could have been.
Yeah. So he was there just before we sat down for dinner, and then someone came to pick him up and bring him home. But yeah, so let's move on to the reception, I guess.
Yes.
So, we could talk about canapes and stuff. There's lots of canapes.
Yeah,
we had like picnic style canapes, like Scotch eggs. Russell loves a Scotch egg.
You can't beat a Scotch egg, to be fair.
We had sausage rolls, like carrot sticks and cucumber and hummus and things
bit
like
of
that.
relish and that sort of stuff, didn't you?
Just like, relish. I forgot about that. It's really nice. Just like big canapes. And the reason we did that is so we didn't have to do a 3-course dinner. Because we had larger canapes, so it meant we only had to have a 2-course dinner. And obviously during that point all our photos had been taken, which went nice and smoothly, apart from my mum disappearing for a little bit because her hair had started to fall out because it was so windy. You got a little bit stressed during the groups as well, didn't you? Just because people don't listen.
They don't know. So obviously the canapes are coming out, the Pims and the champagne and beers and stuff are all coming out as well. So people were way more focused in that sort of stuff than they were trotting over to have their photograph taken. So,
but that's my everyday.
Yeah.
You obviously have never experienced it, which is why you found it stressful. Whereas I was like, this is like.
I wasn't stressed. I'm just impatient and such. And I was very conscious that I didn't necessarily want to be hanging around
having pitch taken.
Yeah, so we were kind of standing there on our own, not on our own, but everyone else is all mingling and getting involved, and we were just standing around waiting for one person to come over and have their photograph taken, and that was a little bit frustrating. So we should maybe have utilised the ushers a bit better for that.
But they went fairly quickly.
They did,
so it was fine. But then we didn't have much going on during that point. I guess we had a golf, like a pitch and putt thing where you could hit the ball across the lake into the one hole. So that went down quite quick though, didn't it? We only had 100 balls and they were gone really quickly.
Yeah, 100 balls. Yeah, and the idea was that I'd assume that at least half of them would go over the lake.
And none of them did.
No, it turns out we've got really good golfers in our group. So,
but that kept everyone entertained for a bit.
It did, yeah.
And one of your friends bought some frisbees, which was never in our plan, but that was really fun.
It was, and they were fun and dangerous because they were just flicking around all over the shop, and they were solid plastic ones. So,
but it was quite fun. It made some funny photos.
It did make some good photos. Yeah.
And then before we knew it was time to sit down for dinner. That time went really quickly, didn't it? So obviously we went off for our pictures and stuff with Sally, and when we come back, it was time for sitting down. And then for dinner we had like a summer version of lamb. So we had we brought it out like joints of lamb, and then every few people on each table we nominated someone to carve the meat, which made it really fun for all our guests to kind of interact and talk to each other. And everyone seemed to enjoy that part of it, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's something you did. Kerrie did. She personalised the
aprons.
The aprons with we nominate carvers' names and stuff. So that was a really nice touch as well. So people got that as a little keepsake as much as anything.
And everyone tended to keep them on for the rest of the day.
Yes, they did.
But that was quite fun, and I just I've seen that before at one of my couple's weddings. They had a similar thing, and so I just saw how well it made everyone interact at the table, and it made it a little less formal. Having your dinner delivered to you, it was rather you all sitting there passing bowls around. So we had like a pea salad, didn't we, served with that, and like new potatoes and things. So it was really fresh. So it's
a really good idea, the sharing stuff. If you've got a mixed group of people and you want to interact, so we had quite long tables, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it was really like a conversation starter, and that sort of form of you kind of had to speak to people, and then you kind of broke that. You had a bit of an icebreaker really about being forced fun and such, and then that worked really well. And then you could just see that everyone was getting along, and people that wouldn't necessarily know each other or talking to each other.
Yeah, I found it strange sitting at the front of the room.
Yeah.
On that top table, because we were looking out at everyone, and they were obviously, and it just felt like you were kind of in a bit of a goldfish bowl, like everyone was staring at you, but they obviously weren't. But that was weird. It was nice actually to like look around the room and just see where everyone was and who was chatting to who, and that was a good point in the day.
Yeah, it was good.
So tell us about speeches.
Speeches, so speeches were good. Do you want to start with mine or do you want to start with your dad's?
Start with yours.
Right, so mine, I did sort of the classic thing of looking on the internet and using like a speech builder website to build my speech up. So I kind of used that for getting the structure, and then put all my own personal anecdotes and sort of what I wanted to say in the bit. It kind of using that sort of speech builder gave you that framework to structure it, which I found really useful.
Was that a website then you found? A speech website?
Yeah, there's loads of them. I mean, I was a little bit, I was a bit cheap with that because you could got a certain amount of views before you they would pay for it. So, but this is, I won't tell you the website, I can't remember it. But if you could do it on your iPad and it would let you do a certain number, then you could do it on your phone and it would let you do a certain number. Then you could do it on your work computer and let you do a certain. I did. I beat the system. So I wrote it based on that. The one thing I did that I probably shouldn't have done, and it's a bit of an easy mistake to make, I think, is I wrote my speech out on my cue cards in full. And I felt like I spent the whole time looking down at it,
reading them word for word.
Yeah, and I knew the speech, and I should have just put the key words in after I'd written it. But I wrote the speech, and I think it went down pretty well. So
it's a nice speech.
Yeah,
it was, and it didn't go on forever.
No,
it was funny and sentimental in like the right amounts.
Good.
And then my dad got up to speak, and I was really worried about my dad's because he's never really had the sort of job where he would have any kind of experience of speaking in front of large groups of people. So I was a bit worried about his speech, but actually it went way better than I ever expected his speech to go.
You'd already predicted what his speech would be, didn't you?
Yeah,
about the 3 or 4 stories.
My dad's only got 3 stories about me, so I was convinced that these are the 3 stories that are going to come up, but he didn't mention any of them, so I was really impressed. And he loves a one-liner, like a really kind of cheesy dad joke. He loves all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so it wasn't a traditional speech as such, was it? Because it was quite a funny speech for the father of the bride.
The funniest thing about his speech was that he got up at one point and it's almost like he forgot his joke halfway through. So he got up and he doesn't ever wear a suit. So he was talking about, he goes, "Oh, we've all got these suits, don't really look nice. We got them from the charity shop." And these, which they obviously weren't from, so everyone laughed. He goes, "Mine's a bit uncomfortable though." And everyone was just a bit like, okay. And he did look really uncomfortable. We couldn't work out what it was, but something was wrong with the shoulders of his suit. And anyway, so carried on with the rest of his speech, and at the end he pulled this coat hanger out of the back of his jacket. Did he say anything when he did that? It's like he just forgot about it.
I think, that would have been why it's uncomfortable, something like that, didn't he?
But everyone found it hilarious. But it was funnier because he'd forgot to finish the joke earlier in the speech and then remembered just before he sat down. With
because it made no sense, did it? You're like, why has he added that into his speech? It worked, but in the end it worked out really well, didn't it? Perfect comic timing, even though it was accidental. But
he should probably be a stand-up comedian. He did really well.
He was good.
And then Steve, your best man, did a speech which went way better than everyone had planned or expected. Yeah, so
Steve's a teacher, but he's quite a quiet fellow, and I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know if it was going to be really stale, maybe. And I had a lot of the cricket club lads there as well, so I thought that maybe they might start giving him a bit of a hard time, and he might. I don't know how he'd be under the pressure, but 10 out of 10, he nailed it, didn't he? He was doing really well. Probably some stuff that a lot of it wasn't true, but we'll let him have that. But he did really well, and it was, everyone said how well it was.
He had some good comic timing as well.
He did,
and he threw in like a joke that he didn't mean to do. He didn't realise it was a joke. The one about the house.
So we when we first moved out homes together, all of us, we decided to buy a house together, and rather than rent, we ended up, for the 3 of us, it all bought into a share of a house, and then we all lived there because it was at the time that the mortgages were easy to get to. You'd believe they gave 24-year-old lads. We had 5% interest only mortgage, which is unheard of now. Mm-hmm. And the deposit wise, it wasn't that much. Effectively, wasn't that much more expensive than renting. So we did that, and then if we moved in together. He was my best mate. We were playing cricket together, seeing each other 7 days a week type thing. So he he put in his speech he can work out it all gone wrong and I'd married Kerrie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
That was quite funny.
Yeah.
But the one thing I would say to everyone is if you don't have a videographer on your wedding day, get someone to film your speeches, because I really wish that we could watch them back. And it's not that I want a fancy video to watch back. Even if someone had recorded them on their phone, I would have loved to have seen them again. Somebody managed to record my dad's, but I wish I'd asked someone to record yours and Steve's, because it would have been really nice to watch them back. So that's like a little bit of a regret, I think, that we hadn't done that. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think I need a videographer otherwise.
Your memories always remember it better anyway, don't they?
Yeah,
it's always
they
better.
do.
So rather than looking back at it, you kind of have that memory, don't you?
So after that, everything kind of finished and everyone went back outside again. It's such a hot day. We had a cake bake-off table, so all the cakes are out. Everyone could help themselves to that. I didn't have any cake, did you?
I didn't know. We didn't have a wedding cake, did we? I don't think you explained this before.
No,
but so we didn't have a wedding cake. So what we asked people to do is to bring their own cakes with them, and we were going to have a bake-off. Which got rigged in the end, but we kind of...
So the idea was each cake had a number and everyone had to vote for their favourite one and put it in a little box, and then later in the evening one of Ross's brothers was going to announce the winner, but we think it got fixed because my nephew won. Not that his cake was bad, it was just that everyone had put his hundreds of them.
The rumours were wild, as in the people were putting in multiple entries to try and boost their chance of winning, so we took a diplomatic view of giving it to Charlie and his dinosaur cakes. So,
But there's so many, like somebody made a cake in the shape of a camera, that's my dad's girlfriend, all sorts of things, like loads of I can't even remember, like my mum made a heart-shaped red velvet, there's a walnut cake that your aunt had made,
a bit lemon drizzle,
loads, many.
There was that fruit cake, a Welsh fruit cake.
Yes, Bar
Brith,
yeah. So many cakes, and that was a really fun way to get your guests involved again, is that they had to bring these along and everyone was kind of trying them and stuff. And for our dessert, for our meal as well, we had a really nice big pavlova that everyone had to share, cut up and share. So that was nice and fun. But then in the evening, because it was so hot, everyone went outside, and this is where we had a bit of a delay in our day. And it tends to happen in lots of weddings, things overrun, but I think just because it was so hot, nobody really wanted to come back in, did they? And obviously this is when the drinkers started to flow, everyone's getting more and more drunk. That's the downside of having a free bar. Well, that was quite fun. Yeah, so
I suppose you mentioned that as part one of the, I suppose one of the reasons we had we didn't go to a traditional venue. But anyway, one of the benefits of not doing it was we were able to bring our own alcohol and stuff in. So what we did, we didn't the vineyard didn't charge a corkage, which is really handy. So we used their wine for the sort of the service, didn't we, and the speeches and the champagne and stuff. So. The sparkling wine or whatever. So we were then allowed to bring our own booze in for the day, for the rest of the day, really. So that saves so much money cost wise to do that. So to be able to provide people drinks all day, which is really what we wanted to do, and not have to pay an extortionate amount of money for
and corkage and
all that sort of stuff. So we're just going through supermarket deals and stuff like that. So I was signing up to every supermarket possible, and taking advantage of their introductory offers to the home delivery service and stuff.
And all the drivers thought I was a massive alcoholic.
So we sort of stacked that up in our garage leading up to the wedding, and then borrowed a mate's van to get it all distributed, and the vineyard let us use their cold storage. It all worked out perfectly. So we were able to provide booze all day.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is that perhaps we shouldn't have bought those barrels. We bought 2 barrels. Yeah,
true. Yeah, so we used the local pub, and they, along with their chairs, we bought 2 barrels of beer off them as well, sort of real ales, and I mean that was really good actually. As a groom, once someone's looking for a job, choosing the beers to use for ceremony means you can pretty much spend every Friday night in the pub just sampling the new stuff that comes on tap, which I did pretty regularly for quite a while. And it was a difficult decision to make, so you had to keep going back. So we ended up making a decision, but there was just the way it works in the day. There was a lot of the beer didn't get drunk out of the barrels.
No. Everyone it's hard, isn't it? You don't know which way people are going to go with what their preference for drinking is. So we kind of got beer and we got spirits, but actually ended up that most people were drinking the spirits. So not hardly any of the beer went, and it's so sad because it doesn't keep in a barrel. We had to tip it away. So in hindsight, we probably should have bought bottled beer.
We definitely should have bought bottled. When we had a good going on the day after, didn't we? But then we were off on honeymoons for 2 weeks to sit in our garage. It was very good.
That was a bit of a waste of money, really. But you live and you learn.
You do, yeah.
And then our first dance was delayed because of everyone just having so much fun outside, or we were assuming they were having fun. We were having fun.
Yeah, I think because it was so relaxed. we had like an
Picnic
order
blankets and
an order
everyone.
ceremony and stuff,
Yeah.
didn't we? And everyone was just sort of chilling out and just
Mm.
just everyone was mingling there, and it worked so well. Like there was groups that you wouldn't necessarily associate with each other all getting on.
Yeah,
right there,
yeah. It was like everyone knew each other. By
Yeah,
then,
it was. It was really nice.
And we'd had more photos taken at that point
Yeah.
as well. And then we came in and we had our first dance. So that was actually at 9 o'clock when we had planned it for 8. So we had an hour delay. But we had secret dance lessons, so nobody knew.
I mean,
And,
my auntie bought it for us as a wedding gift.
yeah,
Actually, so
your aunt and uncle. So we had how many weeks? Maybe 5 weeks of lessons
yeah,
to learn a dance routine. The song we chose was "Toothpaste Kisses" by the Maccabees. Not for any particular reason, just because we both liked it and we've been to see the Maccabees and.
probably one of the first gigs we've been to. I reckon
Yeah.
as a couple.
But it wasn't like a special song before then.
No, it
Although now
wasn't. No,
is.
it is. Yeah, it is now.
Yeah, and so we had learnt a dance routine to that, and I think that was quite a nice way to do because it meant that everyone did watch us, and I wasn't nervous about doing the dance actually.
No,
You're like, yes, I was.
I was a little bit. Yeah, it's primarily this dance that involved me just marching on the spot while Kerrie danced around me.
Spinning around.
Yeah, it took me 5 weeks to learn how to move my feet up and down. So that was the essence of it. But it went really well. But I'm not a natural dancer by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And anyone who knows me will know how my shoulders go and not much else.
Shoulder dancing.
Yeah. So it went really well. And hopefully most of the attention was on Kerrie, which was the aim really. So
All about me.
exactly.
But that was nice. I think it got everyone kind of watching and involved.
Yeah.
And then our band started straight after that. We had a band called Kushti who are local to Colchester. They've been at a few friends' weddings and stuff, and they're really good at kind of getting everyone on the dance floor and mixing the era of their music. So you had some really old stuff. Like I think the song after our first dance was Brown Eyed Girls. I went and danced with my dad, didn't I? And then like they'd bring her back in like the Kasabian or something, wouldn't they, to modernise it? Or it was all stuff from our era anyway.
Yeah, they're really good. They really read the crowd really well and and worked the set list accordingly. And everyone was dancing all night long. Really,
Yeah,
weren't they?
every time the band were on, they had 15-minute breaks. We had 3 sets, didn't we?
Yeah, yes.
So as soon as the band were on, the dance floor was full, and then everyone would leave kind of during their breaks, which was nice because you got to go outside and mingle again.
Yeah, if anyone's looking for a band, I'd definitely recommend them. They were good, and also the length of time they play for. So a lot of the bands are looking on traditional sort of wedding agency website type things. There were 2 45-minute sets, whereas Kushti did 3 45-minute sets, and they were really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good fun, and it was nice just to see everyone dancing. Like my nephew was on my brother's shoulders, like he had his hands like on his head like this, just going, looking out at everyone. It was really nice, just kind of everyone up and dancing involved. It's really lovely.
Yes.
So I think that's about it, isn't it?
We covered everything, have we?
I think so.
Have we plugged our suppliers enough? Because we kind of talked about
Yeah, we should talk about our suppliers.
Yeah.
So we had, if we start in the order of the day, I had Amanda from AS Bridal Makeup do my makeup. She's been on the show before in series 1. I had Claire do my hair from Luxurious Hair and Beauty. She was in the last season 3. I had, I'm trying to go in order. My dress was from Millie Millie Bridal, so you'll find her in, I think it was season 3 as well of the podcast. But it was by Charlie Breer, the designer. Russell's suits were from
Jamieson Warman, which are based in Stoke Newington.
Yeah. Ties were from River Island and Swagger and Swoon. Our buttonholes, I can't remember the name of the person who made them, but I got them from Etsy, so I can always leave a link in the show notes about that. Our celebrant was Bridget Garrett, who's also been on the podcast before. She was in the first season. I think it was like episode 1 or 2 she came on board for. Caroline was our wedding coordinator, Caroline Gould Weddings. Our marquee was from the Wedding Marquee Company.
Yeah.
Our caterer was Linda Hamilton Catering.
She's amazing as well.
She was brilliant.
really good.
She's very passionate about what she does as well, wasn't she? Who else did we have?
Your photographer?
Yeah, my photographer. Oh my gosh, that's so bad. So Sally did a brilliant job on the day because obviously as a photographer I thought I'd find it quite hard to let go part of that part of the day, but actually I didn't even notice that she was there in the nicest way possible. She's just off doing what she wanted to do. She fitted in really well with everyone as well, didn't she? Like your brother loved her because she's a Labour supporter.
Yeah, he did.
They were like, because it was so close to the election, there was a lot of election talk.
There was a lot, yeah. Well, it wasn't that political, was it? But,
but
a lot of it was because Scott had some rascal footwear on the day before. He had these sandals on, Birkenstocks, if they were.
Oh, so everyone's calling Jeremy Corbyn.
Corbyn creepers, they were horrible things.
But yeah, she fitted in really well, and actually she made us a stop motion video, which was really lovely to watch back after wedding day. So it's like a little like trailer of our wedding day, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
it was
fun.
She did a brilliant job. She was great. So that's Sally T photography. Who else did we have?
We had Thumping Tommies as our band for the day, so that again they were really good. So they played the music down the aisle, and then back up again. So we had Bombay Basketball Club to play us down, didn't we? Lullaby.
I walked
Fairy
down.
Tale Lullaby.
Yeah, I walked down to Fairy Tale Lullaby and walked up the aisle to Home by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Yeah, and then they kind of led the procession. That's the word. Procession. Over towards the marquee, so that was really nice. And then they played like an acoustic set just while everyone was milling around. So they were really good.
Despite the communication issue.
I just think you could kind of live with what you've got with bands, and they are a bit maverick. I wouldn't stop me recommending them in any way, shape or form. I thought they were brilliant.
We wanted something really folky and laid back for the day, and they were exactly what we wanted.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's Thumping Tommies. Our other band was Kushti. Our lighting, we had Dreamo come in to do all our lighting, so we wanted to create a nice ambience in the evening. So we had party lights for the band, and then we had the hanging festoon lights as well, which
and they did the palette backdrop for us as well, didn't they?
Yeah, so that was Dreamwave.
There was a Dead and Vale Vineyard as well. We got married.
Yeah. I think that's it then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. I really hope I haven't missed anyone off the list. I probably have. I'll make sure that I put a full list of suppliers in the show notes with this episode, so if you want to have a look you can, and I'll link to our wedding photos as well so you can take a look and see everything. But I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything you wish we had done that we didn't?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think we probably crammed everything in we could have done. No, I was pretty happy with my lot, to be honest.
I remember you turning around to me during the dancing and being like, it's definitely the best day of my life.
Yeah, it is. I know it's very cliche, but I think everyone probably goes through that. And probably the key to it is you just to enjoy it. You know, things are going to happen. Just make sure you take your own time to enjoy it and get what you want out of the day as much as anything else really. And it was without doubt the best day of my life. So.
Yeah, me too. And I always think that's a massive cliche when people are like, oh, I'm having the best day ever. And I think, oh really? It's just the wedding day.
Do you feel about your newspaper?
Oh yeah, actually it is the best day of your life because it's the only time that you ever have all your friends and your family in one place, and everyone wants to talk to you and you feel really popular. It's really lovely. So after the wedding we sent out these newspapers which we had made with all our wedding photos in. So if you're listening to the podcast you might want to head over to YouTube and just check out what I'm showing. But it had like a selection of all our wedding photos in, and it's just a nice way to say thank you to everyone. I will probably put a better link up to these so you can take a look, but it was a nice way to kind of commemorate the day, and we tried to get as many people in there from the wedding as possible.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to have that to look back on as well. But yeah,
good.
That's everything. Thank you for listening. I hope you've really enjoyed hearing the summary of our day. It's been really nice to sit here and talk about it actually.
Yeah, bring back memories. Made my debut on a podcast, so
famous now.
The start of things to come, maybe.
Yeah. Because it's been, 4 months since the wedding now?
Yeah, it's been, yeah.
So when we went off on our honeymoon, we went to Ischia in Italy, just off the coast of Naples, and actually we couldn't stop talking about it the entire week that we were there. Perhaps that would have been the best time to record the podcast, because we just would have been spewing out gushing about the wedding. But actually sitting down and talking about it and reviewing it is actually a really nice way to kind of bring it back to the forefront of your mind and enjoy it all over again. And
just one supplier Kerrie's forgotten that I've remembered having looked is the ring supplies.
Oh yeah,
number 10 jewels in Brighton to... it's probably one of the most disorganised parts of our day of our wedding was we didn't think that you'd have to worry about getting rings made. You just go into the shop and you pick them up on the day. It doesn't quite work like that.
Not quite on the day.
So we went down to Brighton to get the rings, thinking we would pick them up that weekend, didn't we?
Yeah.
But no, you actually have to order them. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
So
they arrived a couple of days before.
Yeah, but they pulled out the stops and they get them to us before the day. Got them couried over, and they were really really accommodating. So
yeah, they were brilliant.
They were really good as well.
I think that's all the supplies now.
Yeah, I think we've done it good. I'm glad we've got them all in. Kerrie working in this industry makes a massive difference to having experienced suppliers, and we got the pick of the bunch really, and we made sure we got the really good ones. So
yeah, perfect. Well, thank you all for listening. If you've got any questions about the day and you want to hear more about it, obviously in our Facebook group, so head over in there to join if you wanted to. You can go to our website, which is getwebpodcast.co.uk, and the link to the Facebook group is in the header there. And I'll be happy to answer any more questions. But thank you for joining us, and I hope you've enjoyed hearing Russell's voice on the podcast.
Yeah, I hope so. I haven't bored you too much.
And I'll be back next week with another episode. Thanks everyone.
Excellent.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. We really hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Get Wed. Don't forget you can always subscribe to us on Apple Podcast, and whilst you're there, you may as well leave us a review. You can join us for more wedding chat in our Facebook group if you just can't wait until next week, and you'll find all the links that you need via our website, including show notes for this episode at www.getwedpodcast.co.uk. We'll see you next time. Happy planning!